So the question is, and always is, like, how much is your bourbon worth to you? And how much are you willing to fork over to have the bourbon that you want in your life?
I feel like I'm in a self-help talk. Like, not that you have a problem drinking, you have a problem buying.
You're good enough, you're smart enough, and daggone it, people like you.
These are 6 bottles of bourbon that we're going to talk about and how much we would realistically spend.
Welcome back to another edition of Bourbon Kingdom. I'm David.
And I'm Zach.
And today we are going to talk about some expensive bourbon, but how expensive is it? And how much are you willing to pay for that bourbon?
All right, so let's just have like a real heart-to-heart here.
Let's do it.
We understand that everybody's budget is different.
Yes.
We understand that some people can spend more money on bourbon, some people can't. Some people can spend whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's totally cool. I get it. We're not here to have the conversation that any $25 whiskey or bourbon is better than anything that costs $50, $75. If you want to have that conversation, that's a different video for a different day. Probably, honestly, a different channel.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we get asked a lot of times, hey, I stopped in at this random store. They have bottle X here. It's like $100 over MSRP. Should I buy that or not?
Yeah.
Is it worth buying?
Yeah.
So we're going to kind of talk about a few bottles. These are all going to be hard to find because realistically, nobody's worried about overspending on Wild Turkey 101. And, you know, like, I get it. Some of these we're going to...
If you find Wild Turkey 101 for $100, just stay away from it.
You're in the wrong store.
You are
definitely in the wrong store.
Yeah.
But we're going to have this kind of conversation, and I'm going to assume this is a one-off, and we'll say this is a very special occasion.
Yeah.
Weddings, anniversaries, gifts for retirement, whatever it is.
Yes.
So we'll just assume that's a really special thing in how much you're willing to spend on something.
Yeah. And before we actually jump into that, let's hit the like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, and then tell us what you think about our list.
And yell at me.
Because it's always him.
That's always my fault.
Yeah.
Well, you have a face that no one wants to yell at.
But you want to give me a Remus 5.
I'm not here for that conversation right now. All right. Booker's The Reserve. So this is roughly about $130.
Yeah.
Okay?
It is.
It's not really findable anymore. I found one in Louisville at MSRP, but I had to like beg, borrow, and steal to be able to get it.
They sold it at KBF too, didn't they?
They did. Jim Beam's also been putting a lot of them out, but they might be done. Yeah. So I'm not exactly sure on the count of these, but still.
I get it. To me, I honestly think that it is priced about right.
I kind of agree.
I think it's really good but I also think that it is priced just above a regular Booker's in the right way. So if you're willing to spend $110 on a Booker's, to me $130 isn't seem too out of whack for this. And this drink's way more special than a Booker's.
Agreed. So if I was like a hardcore Jim Beam fan, I would probably be willing to spend a little bit more money on it because I do think it's going to be like one of these special bottles if that's like your jam. To me though, as somebody who's not a hardcore Jim Beam fan, I think you're probably around that 130. I think that 130 mark, to 150 mark is probably that what I would want to spend.
To me, I think it's priced correctly.
Do I understand like on the secondaries these are moving for like around 200 something? Yes, I understand that. But if I was gonna, my spending price, like I don't think I'd buy one of these on the secondary. Like, to me,
no.
I would try to get one from like one of these stores that just mark up a little bit.
If I didn't get it at MSRP, I probably wouldn't look for it either.
Yeah. All right. Next one. And I bet you a lot of people are going to be like, Zach, why are you asking about Disco? I can find Disco 10 everywhere. Some places I can still find Disco 11.
Yeah, you can definitely still find Disco 11.
Not everywhere, but there are places that still find Disco 11.
Yeah.
Disco 12 is like...
Disco 12 is going to be the LE that I think it was intended to be.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I agree. So to me, I think this bottle, because what was the price of it? Like 130?
It's like 139.
140, something like that.
Yeah.
This bottle is difficult to price because I feel like at the end of the year, this is going to do really well in blinds. So I think it's actually going to beat a lot of bourbons that I'll be surprised it will beat.
Yep.
Because I think it's made to blind really well.
Yeah.
With that being said, I would probably be like the most I'd want to spend is like around 175, 180-ish, maybe 200 if I was a hardcore fan. But like at the end of the year, that I could see this beating more bottles than what you would think.
Yep.
And so with that being said, I wouldn't be shocked if people are spending more than that at the end of the year, like over 200.
I would agree. I think 150 to 160 is where I would probably be at, generally speaking. But you're going to have a hard time after this initial push to find it for that price.
Oh, I agree.
I think that this may be the first time, maybe in a long time, outside of some very early Bardstown bottles, that you're gonna this bottle is gonna demand maybe some things on the secondary that maybe it hasn't in a while, because it is really good. It drinks pretty special. I do agree that I think it's gonna punch some of these other bottles in the face and go, I'm right here. And because of that, I do believe that people are gonna want to get their hands on it, and so I wouldn't be surprised if you see somebody pay $250 to $300 for this at some point, either the end of this year or at the beginning of next year when the supply is gone.
And you really went high on that.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I wouldn't pay that much for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see where probably some people will.
Okay, fair. Next one. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Maker's Mark Cellar's Age. The new one, the 24. I didn't even bother looking up to see how much he's moved for in the secondary.
I don't think I did either. I can't even remember what they are normally. 180?
No, I think it was closer
to 2.
I think it was closer to 200.
Okay. This is a hard one for me because I do really like it.
Yeah.
But I think realistically, what I'm gonna end up buying this.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess in theory, this is what I would be willing to pay for it.
Well, you're going on the Cellar's Age tour.
Yeah.
We're both are. We're on different days.
So in theory, I'm actually paying closer to $300.
You are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the tour.
I think you'll actually be, I think it's going to be ultimately closer to like 250, 275. And I feel like that is my max on it.
Yeah. I think whatever the tour and the bottle cost, that's my max. I like the tour because I think they do a good job with the tour.
They do an excellent job with the
So
tour.
I don't count the tour into the bottle price, but you kind of have to because I'm getting them at the same time.
Yeah.
Although I've already paid for the tour, so it doesn't really matter. Like at the grand scheme of things, I've already paid for the tour, so I forgot that I spent $90. Yeah. I think that's probably my max too.
Probably.
Yeah.
I would probably agree with that. I mean, there's a local store by us that we have pretty good relationships with. It's like after tax, it's like close to $250 walking out the door.
Yeah.
And I turned it down.
Yeah.
So, it's
if I was walking into a store and they had them.
But here's the thing, it was $250 walking out of that store I knew, like, we already have the Maker's Mark Cellar's Age tour booked. If I didn't, would I think about it? Yes. But since I already had it, I didn't want to spend it again.
Fair enough.
So it's kind of weird because, like, last year, I think I would have for sure.
But it was because...
But it was so new and fresh then.
Yes, it was so new and fresh. But not to discount the quality of the bottle, for sure. I still think it's really phenomenal. So
yeah, I agree. Russell's 15. Whiskey of the Year contender.
What is the MSRP on this? $250?
I think at the distillery after taxes it was like either $260 something or $270
something.
Not cheap.
No.
But nothing Wild Turkey is.
No. Special occasion bottle, looking at this, I would probably say $350-ish for me. I'd probably be... if someone put one in front of my face for $350, I would probably buy it.
If it was $400 for me, I'd buy it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, let me say this. If I had never got one and I wanted something really special occasion and I'm buying that one bottle a year kind of thing, like where I'm getting something super special, that $400 mark is probably that mark I'm going to get. Yeah. Because, A, you don't know if they're ever going to do these again. Could they do more 15s?
Yeah.
Yes. That is plausible that they will do them.
Yeah.
Is it likely? I don't know. I really don't. I've heard mixed things that they will do it again. It just won't be annually. I've heard that they might not ever do it again. So who really knows?
It's the mystery of Campari.
But this is one of the best whiskeys I've had all year.
Yeah.
I'm a big Wild Turkey fan. Like, I would love to have more of it. Yeah. At the end of the day, I would love to have more of it.
Yeah, for sure.
And that seems crazy that we're talking about spending $400 on Wild Turkey product.
Yeah.
I'm just raising the price. Ode Fitz 13. Now, in some ways, this is going to be a little different. Because where you could argue saying that they can copy Russell's 15, this they can't copy because they vatted this. So this is going to be a one-off of one-offs. Okay? On top of that, you just can't go back in time and find these barrels and just like, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to vat it. And it's just going to work out miraculously.
What's crazy is they knew how good it was back then.
Do you think that, well, okay. Yes, they knew it was good then. But I wonder, like, honestly, I was having this conversation with somebody. It's like, do you think they really knew what they had then? Like, in, like, the late 90s? Whenever they did it?
No, I think once they got it to 12-year or 13-year, 13-year, they tasted it and they were like, yeah, this is pretty darn perfect.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and take it out. And we're going to selfishly not, or sacrificially not put it in a bottle yet. We're just going to vat it and sit on it for a while and use it as some special occasion.
But here's what's crazy. So, because somebody was like, oh, they planned this. I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, oh, they planned for it to be dusty. They didn't know what a dusty profile tastes like then because they were just drinking it.
Yeah.
That's like saying now, like everything you're drinking now is strictly a dusty profile in 20 years. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But like there are, I can drink Smoder Old Foresters that taste just like modern Old Foresters now.
Yeah.
They don't drink dusty to me. So
at the end of the day,
this is like what, $230 something out the door?
Yeah, $230 something out the door.
All right. What kind of ridiculous price are you willing to pay for it if you had to get one?
Knowing what it...
I think they go for around like $700 on the secondary.
Yeah, knowing what it tastes like now, and if I'm looking and going, I'm buying one special bottle this year.
This dead air is great right now.
I still say, for me and this bottle, $700 is not a bad price.
I think I'm somewhere between 6 and 7. Again, It is ridiculously priced. I get it. But
I'm glad that I got one at $230.
Well, here's what I'm telling you guys. In a year, whenever this bottle is no longer being released, maybe a year and a half, whatever it is, and you can't find these anymore, these are truthfully going to skyrocket. They're the best old fits they've ever done. This is such a crazy profile that they're not going to be able to duplicate again unless they're just sitting on 20 vats of random products and
I just don't think that they're doing that.
I mean, I don't think so. So these are going to skyrocket. So I don't think if you're spending that one special thing, like where people will spend between $500 to $700 on GTS every year, and I know like that sounds crazy, but there are people that do that all the time at these stores. It's not crazy to think about that because this is truly spectacular.
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right, biggest wild card of them all. A Willett Family Estate Bourbon.
$65.
Such a jerk. All right, so here's where the conversation begins and ends. Are we talking sourced Willett, or are we talking their own distillate?
Well, this one, $35.
This one isn't bad. This is a Liquor Barn pick. This one's good.
It's not good.
Stop. You're so mean. And you're being mean to not only Willett, but then also Liquor Barn. Okay, so here's what I would say.
Actually, I did have a pour of this one, I believe. It was all right.
Sourced Willett, which is basically coming from like a couple of distilleries, Jim Beam, Heaven Hill, which we love. Mm-hmm. Maybe some Brown Foreman in there. Is fantastic. It's literally, if I had to do an all-time top 10 list, which I don't even know how I'd begin to think that, I'd probably have 3 sourced Willets. Ultra Age Willets, that would be on that list.
Yeah, the source Willett is generally pretty good.
But if we're talking about their own stuff, it's super expensive. Like a lot of times you're starting around like
$300.
Yeah, to like 400 something. And a lot of that stuff to me, I'm just not, and I don't even think their stuff's bad. Honestly, their own distillate that they put in here, I don't think it's bad. I think it's outrageously overpriced. So I would probably be a pass on it. Now, again, if we're talking some source stuff,
this isn't buy or pass. This is.
Well, no, I wouldn't
spend
money on it.
Yeah.
Like I just wouldn't buy it. So 0. But if we're talking some source stuff, I mean, some of that stuff, it's not crazy to think about spending $500, $600, $700. And I'm not talking like a $25,000 bottle, which you'll see in auctions and stuff like that. But some of these bottles are truly some awesome, incredible things.
Yeah. I stand by mine.
$65.
$65 for source. $35 for their own stuff. Y'all can hate me if you want to.
You're so mean. All right, so that's our list. So go ahead and leave all the hate and upset comments.
No, there's no hate. Y'all know this is all good. This is all fun. It's all in love. So,
but anyways, out of all seriousness, we understand that not everybody's going to go out and buy every single one. We also understand that times are tough and everybody's trying to save money here and there. Yeah. So if you're going to go out and buy one of these, like I said, I feel like those are healthy price points. And before you go out and buy anything, try to get a sample of something first.
Yeah, for sure. Sample.
Even if you have to buy it on the secondary or buy or trade one with a friend or do like in the trading groups, whatever, for samples.
Or go to a bar, spend $65, $75, $80 on a pour.
Yeah. At least then you know.
And then you know. For sure. That is true. All right. Well, that's our list. Till the next time.
We'll see you.
We'll see you.